Please do. And you guys are the first people to ever bring dirt to the studio, so I want to thank you for that.
You're more than welcome.
So here is your soil and compared to industrial commodity, what does this say?
Dirt.
Row crop. So you can see the difference in the, I mean, I don't know if you guys can see it very clearly in the in the video, but one of them is very light colored and the other one looks rich and dark, and it's filled with twigs and all sorts of biological material.
There's probably some worms in there.
Yeah, probably. And this looks like what I'd like to grow something on, whereas this looks like some stuff that blows in the wind when it gets dry out.
I'm going to show you that.
Yeah, please do.
And they came from side by side, one side of the fence versus the other side of the fence. And there's no difference other than the way they've been managed over the last 20 years.
Yeah, and we've showed many times that video of was it a creek or a river near your house where the runoff from their farm is just polluting the water. I mean, a very clear line. I mean, the difference is so stark. It's so stark. And how is that legal, by the way?
So let me tell you what you see in there. So the brown water is coming off my farm. The red water is coming under the road. There's a culvert there.
There's a video of that. We can look at it.
Yeah.
We've played that video many, many times just to show people the difference between a regenerative farm and an industrial farm.
Is that me or my daddy? Damn, he looks old.
Look at those arms.
Oh, scale. I mean, he's scaling like a fish.
So, it's just strange that it's legal to just have the runoff pollute the rivers. That it seems like someone would see that and say, well, the downstream effects of this have to be pretty substantial and pretty detrimental to the fish, to every other piece of land that's downriver that's going to encounter all this fertilizer and pesticide and herbicides, and this has to be terrible.
Well, and if it was a construction site, it would have to be under what they call SWIT. That's an acronym for something, stormwater, something. And they wouldn't allow that. But agricultural land is not under SWIT.
In fact, it's not even under SWIT. That's a subsidized production system by the government. So it's not only okay or acceptable, it's the status quo.
So they've just accepted a certain amount of pollution.
Well, I guess it would be a nearly unlimited amount of solution because nobody checks it.
Nobody checks the water. Nobody checks to see what the results are, which is insane. I mean, what is it like downstream? What is downstream of that?
Well, it used to be the Apalachicola Bay, which was a thriving oystering grounds, but they don't oyster there anymore.
Because of the runoff from the farms.
Because of the decline in oyster population, which is because of runoff, correct.
Wow.
There's like a whole town, Apalachicola, that's used to be a real thriving community because of the oystering, business and industry, and the whole town has suffered, which is one thing we'll talk about, with regards to rural America. But there's like a whole city that's suffering because they can no longer do what they've done for generations.
How come no one's filed a lawsuit?
Well, I'm not in the lawsuit filing business.
Not you, but someone from that town. I mean, and someone from the oystering community, because it seems like that's a no-brainer. I mean, if you were running a tire company and the tire company was upstream of something and the water went down and started polluting it and ruining people's livelihoods, you would think that someone would have the grounds for a lawsuit.
Well, you had RFK on, and he talked a lot about, in New York, the river and the pollution and how he led the charge. People like that need to look at Apalachicola Bay.
And if you had a runoff from a tire manufacturing company, you could trace it back to that one entity in one location. That water comes from all over South Georgia, and it's from everybody's fields, and most of it is treated the same way. So, I'm not answering a litigation question because I don't know, but it would be a hell of a complex situation to jump on.
So you would have to sue a large number of farms.
I don't know how that works, but yeah,
Right.
there's a large number of people contributing to it. And virtually everyone who farms corn, cotton, peanuts uses the same cultivation and the same pesticides. So, it just seems like it'd be a very, very complex litigation to me.
It seems like it's at least worth a study. Have they done a study on the bay and the levels of pesticides and various chemicals?
Dead zones in the Gulf have been studied, and Jamie can probably pull that up.
Could you do me a favor and just pull that microphone just a little closer to your face? Just try to keep it like a fist away from your face like that.
Yeah.
So it seems like that they would want to study that, though. I mean, it's insane to me that they just allow that to continue, and it's happening every day, day by day, just constantly dumping toxic chemicals into the water.
Okay, so I think, I'm certainly not answering for that whole kind of politically motivated question, but you got to remember that the politicians who control the bureaucrats are controlled by pesticide companies
Right.
and agricultural companies. There's just a lot of money involved.
Yeah.
And, if I were a politician running for office and begging for funding, I probably wouldn't want to be the guy that opened that can of worms.
It seems like it all boils down to that, money and politics. If we could take money out of politics, we could make it so that no one can donate other than individuals and a very limited amount of money. We could change everything.
I think so.
We could change everything. It's such a dirty system, and it allows things like this to happen.